From the broadcast center in Kamloops, British Columbia, this is the CFJC Evening News.
Tonight, weather warning over. Plenty of debris left behind.
It's all, as you can imagine, it's pretty widespread throughout the city.
Under Christian rule, new mayor oversees first council meeting. And a new lease on life. A Kamloops man benefits from liver transplant. 2
days out from being released from the hospital, we were at Stanley Park walking around. I didn't think I'd be able to do it.
Now from the CFJC newsroom, here is Bill O'Donovan.
Good evening. It certainly was a blustery day in Kamloops. Wind gusts exceeded 100 kilometers an hour as a cold front pushed into Kamloops late this morning and early this afternoon. The storm produced rain and toppled trees and downed branches throughout the city. BC Hydro was kept busy as power was knocked out in a number of Kamloops neighborhoods. And the cleanup has only begun for city parks crews. Jill Sperling reports.
Winds gusting over 100 kilometers an hour blew into Kamloops late morning, accompanied by a heavy downpour.
The strongest winds that we saw today in Kamloops were sort of late this morning around 10:30 to 11 when a cold front that came through brought the winds around to the west, and we saw gusts as strong as 104 kilometers an hour.
Environment Canada issued a wind warning for the South Thompson region, and the city cautioned residents to stay out of parks and off trails while the winds persisted.
We're just advising people to, in the interest of public safety, to not be out in severe windstorms due to the falling debris and stuff. So it's a matter of public safety that we're asking the public to stay away from our parks and public trails, just wherever you see large trees. We will definitely get to these once we catch up.
City crews were still cleaning up the mess left behind by Monday's gusty conditions when the winds picked up again, downing trees across the city.
Right now, all of our park staff are run off their feet trying to clean up the mess that you can see behind me here, and it's all, as you can imagine, it's pretty widespread throughout the city.
More than 650 homes in Juniper were temporarily without power when a fallen tree took down a power line on Sunset Drive. Park staff have prioritized cleanup where trees are blocking roadways or trails.
It's going to be a busy day tomorrow as well.
So this is where it blew right through the fence, and you can see it took the 4x4 post and snapped it right at the bottom.
One home in Barnhartville was badly damaged by what homeowner Carrie DeLue describes as a tornado. The wind was so strong it sent an aluminum patio cover flying into the roof of her home.
Needless to say, I was freaking out. I thought it was a real tornado. It looked like a real tornado. And just like I say, with the branches and the leaves in a funnel cloud like that and coming straight at my doorway.
Alyssa Charbonneau with Environment Canada was unable to confirm whether a tornado had developed, but did say the windstorm would have been capable of producing significant damage. By mid-afternoon, the winds had died down, and Environment Canada lifted its wind warning.
Another system is coming through tomorrow, and it's going to bring some more rain showers and winds, but we're not expecting anything like what we saw today, looking at potentially some winds from the east at 40 gusting to 60 kilometers an hour in the afternoon.
And those windy conditions also presented problems for the Kamloops Airport. But airport manager Heather McCarley says it all depended on the direction of the wind rather than the strength. A few flights were canceled Monday as crosswinds howled. There were some flight delays today, and travelers again are advised to check with their airlines for the most up-to-date flight information. Kamloops RCMP are looking for a man who allegedly tried to lure an 11-year-old girl in front of a school in Westside today. The alleged incident happened yesterday afternoon between 2:30 and 2:50 in front of David Thompson Elementary School. According to police, the man approached the girl, telling her he was there to pick her up. She challenged him by asking what her mother's name was, and when he couldn't provide either her mother's or her father's name, he left. And police are asking for the public's help in finding the suspect.
The male is described as being in his 20s. He has dirty blonde hair. He's got a piercing in his lip and in his eyebrow. He was wearing jeans, a dark-colored shirt, and a red ball cap. And he was driving a vehicle. We think it's a Chev pickup truck, a two-door Chev pickup truck. It's burgundy in color, and it also has a matching canopy. So if anybody saw him or the vehicle, please give us a call. We'd like to get to the bottom of this.
RCMP Corporal Jody Shelke adding the girl did the right thing by immediately contacting her mother. Police are hoping that parents will talk to their children about the potential dangers of these kinds of situations.
We encourage parents to make this a speaking point tonight with your children and give them advice on what they should do in different types of situations. And that is to avoid suspicious vehicles, don't talk to strangers, and to have a code word or a phrase worked out between you and your children so that if you do need to send somebody to pick up your child, that the code word, they can use the code word and they'll know that the person is safe to go with.
It's official. All the vacancies around the Kamloops City Council table have now been filled after Ken Christian, Kathy Sinclair and Ray Dollywall were sworn in at an oath of office ceremony last evening. As Adam Donnelly found out, the new mayor plans on getting down to business as soon as possible.
That I am qualified to hold the office of mayor of the city of Kamloops, to which I have been elected.
After 6 months without a permanent mayor, that vacancy has been officially filled. Ken Christian was sworn in last night as the 40th mayor of the city of Kamloops.
Following Peter Millibar into this office is just a tremendous feeling. I have so much respect for Peter and all that he did for the city of Kamloops in his 9 years as mayor and his 15 years on council.
Joining Christian were two new city councillors, Kathy Sinclair and Ray Dollywall. Both new councillors know the learning curve will be a steep one as they head into their first council meeting, but also want to make sure they're able to have their voices heard.
Housing, the opioid crisis, those are really on my mind right now, as I'm sure they're on everyone's minds. Balancing that out with making sure that Kamloops is a prosperous place, making sure it's a business-friendly place, helping to create an environment that fosters more jobs and really paves the way for the growth that we're going to be seeing in Kamloops over the next 20 years.
My platform was safety and security of our citizens. We definitely need to get a handle on that. And as far as there's a lot of traffic issues around that haven't been dealt with, especially in West Side where you come in, a lot of new subdivisions up there, and the people are stuck in traffic jams in the morning trying to get to work and getting home as well. So I'd really like to have that addressed first and foremost.
Christian spent 2 terms as a city councillor before resigning his seat to run for mayor in the September 30 by-election, which gives him the advantage of understanding the issues the city is facing.
Certainly Camp Plan as our guiding planning document going forward. It's overdue. It's been waiting for council to be at full strength. So that's going to be first on our agenda. I think dealing with the decision with respect to Ajax, a very divisive community issue. We need to finalize that. We have a budget to prepare. And we also have the strategic plan that council adopted 3 years ago. There are items that are outstanding on that we need to finish off. So realistically, this is a one-year term. We're not going to be able to do it all, but we need to start the discussions and we need to get on with business.
He's hoping that familiarity will help him keep council focused on solving those issues.
We will be measured on how quickly we can come together around the major issues that are facing Kamloops and how we can work as a team.
Adam Donnelly, CFJC News.
A Kamloops man suffering from a chronic illness now has a new lease on life. After years on the waiting list, Tony Maidment underwent a liver transplant in Vancouver this past spring. And while his road to recovery hasn't been without its challenges, the Kamloops man says being able to return to everyday routines is a gift that he'll never be able to repay. Vanessa Ibarra has more on his story and his push for more people to become organ donors.
These are some of the medications that I have to take. I keep them in my little organ donor bag.
This has become Tony Maidment's new normal.
This is the anti-rejection medication I take in the morning at 8 a.m. And this is the medication I take in the evenings, again at 8 p.m.
Having to down a dozen pills every day may be a dire thought for some, but for Maidment, it's a small sacrifice.
I have tons of energy. You just get up and go.
The marathon runner has suffered from a rare form of liver disease for close to half his life. Bending down to tie his shoes eventually became too painful to do.
Quality of life just went right out the door. Of course, no running, no cycling.
The Kamloops mechanic was on the BC transplant list to receive a new liver for years. After transplant surgery was postponed, this spring, the 49-year-old received a call that they'd found the perfect match.
When she said that, it was different. It was different than the first time. I held it together. I didn't lose it on the phone with her. I phoned my wife. She came home. She had lost it.
Within 2 days, the father of two underwent transplant surgery at Vancouver General Hospital. In no time, his strength began to return.
2 days out from being released from the hospital, we were at Stanley Park walking around. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, and I did it.
Maidment has to take anti-rejection and other meds, as well undergo regular blood tests for the rest of his life in order to maintain that strength. Still,
you can't compare it. Where I was to where I am, it's like night and day. It's like having a blanket over you, trying to live life, and now the blanket's gone, and it's just a brand new, fresh day.
With only 20% of British Columbians organ donors, the Kamloops resident has become a BC transplant volunteer in an effort to try and increase that number.
If we were to get 50% signed up, I wouldn't have been on the list half the time I was on the list. We just need more donors.
This proud recipient in the process of writing the hardest letter of his life to his donor's family.
How do you say thank you? How do you say thank you? How do you say thank you to someone who has given you life back, has let you move forward with life? From a position where most of us are with chronic illness to now, there isn't any words.
And again, the importance of organ donation. And again, we've spoken to Tony in the past, and it's we're all very happy to see that he received the organ that he needed to keep on going. So,
and hard to believe only 20% are on the list. When
yes.
he said that, it's just, yeah. Sad.
So again, keep that in mind. Organ donation is very important, and you can register by going online. Just simply search organ donation here in the province of BC. What a day we had today, so to speak.
A little wild.
It was so warm this morning when we came to work, and yet the temperature changed dramatically, and the weather changed dramatically.
Earl was saying within, I think, an hour or so, it dropped about 10 degrees at least.
Yes.
And it was like everywhere you turned, it was a wild ride almost.
Yes, it certainly was.
You didn't know what to expect.
But I was going to say, when we look outside right now, we have some sunshine, but it looks like there's more rain on the way.
There is, yeah. A warmer system is coming into Kamloops tomorrow, so that will bring a bit more rain, but less wind. So that's the good news, Bill. We're currently sitting at 8.9 degrees. I'll have your full weather forecast later on in the show.
Yeah, this is nasty, but a welcoming to Canada.
Yes, and we weren't the only ones who had some bad weather today. Heavy rain and wind on the BC South Coast. We'll bring you more in just a few moments.
Mi casa es su casa.
Casa Decor, Kamloops' most beautiful furniture store.
Right now, in places all over the world, there are children who feel forgotten and alone, without a home, without a friend, and without hope. But what if love could arrive through a simple gift? When you pack a shoebox with Operation Christmas Child, you're giving much more than a gift. You're helping a child find a friend and discover their own potential. In the hands of a child